therefore, of the services we provide in the Yorkshire Dales, the petrol station, the Little White Bus, and we're responsible for several units in the industrial estate, the rural areas. I've done a PowerPoint presentation which hopefully will be self-explanatory. We have grown exponentially in the last 5 years from having one bus to now we have a services now which carry in excess of 50,000 passengers. So without further ado, I'll quickly run through. This is our community office. This is where all our services are run from. Police station, the post office, the library, the internet cafe, the one that John's been alluding to earlier on. Fantastic building, been adapted over the years to accommodate the facilities that we need to provide to our local community. In the beginning, we did the Little White Bus. It was neat to provide local transport, which was identified to the Garsdale station, to provide transport to the Saturday Carlisle Railway, which has fortunately been retained by Michael Portello. Youth club, cultural outings, social outings, and providing transport to the local surgeries, both in Deersgarth and in Hawes. There was local requests for more local transport. They needed a reliable service. And Hawes and High outside Parish Council, the link to the Saturday Carlisle Railway was provides a lifeline in the deeper rural area. That lifeline has been extended. Now it's difficult to get a seat on that railway line sometimes, which is great for transport. Just read through there. Access to local shops, specialised services, and also provide transport for the increased income visitors who come to the Yorkshire Dales. They now come 12 months of the year. Partnership, thanks to John's leadership, took on the challenge of retaining the scheduled services originally from Hawes to Garsdale Station, which is about 6 miles away. Responded to the need to provide a service 7 days a week, which we still do. We received, as John said, fantastic help and coordination from North Yorkshire County Council, the Integrated Passenger Transport Department. We have a fantastic relationship with that department, and without such, we wouldn't be able to function, and no transport company would be able to do that either. Which means the District Council, and obviously the mainstay of continuing success is the band of volunteers that we have. That will come later on. We managed to get one bus. We managed to get a second bus, which we use for market day journeys to outlying villages. We have a summer trip which runs 1 day every month, 12 times a year to various destinations. Gives us greater flexibility to have a demand service where people can ring up and say, can the bus pick me up from here and take me to Garsdale Station or take me to Deersgarth? This was in the early days before we expanded and got our scheduled services up and running. 2014 saw the expansion of the White Bus to Deersgarth to Leyburn service, which we provided 3 return journeys a day. And in Swaledale, Kell to Reeth, again 3 return journeys a day. This was a need from the local community because their transport wasn't available, and they could see how successful we were in Wensleydale. 2014 saw further expansion to the Little White Bus. Garsdale, the Wensleydale Voyager, which now provides transport, 2 buses between Hawes and Leyburn, and provides transport to all the outlying villages and the scheduled service. The Swaledale Shuttle, that provides the service between now Kell and Richmond, and also Tunstall, and it's a lifeline to the people who live in both Wensleydale and Swaledale. We were successful in obtaining these transport from the villages from the rural areas to bring 3 or 4 children into Hawes, and we use a 4-wheel drive and we provide the transport for that, so you get the farmers' daughters and sons into the village. The Garsdale service was our flagship initially, operates 7 days a week from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. There is a scheduled service, and there's also a demand service where we can meet. We meet the first train, we meet the last train at Garsdale. We also can meet all the other trains if people want us to go and meet them or take them to the station. It's very, very popular. The Wednesday the Voyager, this is our low floor. We have 2 of these vehicles. We operate 6 days a week. From Leyburn, and we go to Tesco's and Princess Gate every day, which provides transport to Tesco's. The Princess Gate there is a retail outlet. That's very, very popular and very gratefully received. Swaledale Shuttle, that again operates 6 days a week. 4 return journeys between Keld, which is really rural, Reith, Richmond, Caprick again to Princess Gate, where we can get the services to join. Again, the shopping outlet, that's very, very popular. 2016, thanks to the DFT, we purchased a Mercedes 16-seater vehicle. This where we used to provide a service which wasn't previously in existence, which is the Richmondshire Rover. That goes as far as from Richmond all the way to Teesside Park. It goes to Bishop Barncastle, and it goes to Ripon, and it goes to North Hallam. That's a very, very popular service because that was there, and John and I brought that in where there wasn't an existing service, and all the villages that we serve didn't have a bus service at all. We were successful in providing a further 3 16-seater vehicles to provide transport from Hawes to Sedler, the local school. Without that, it was previously done by a single operator, but it wasn't sustainable at all. We were successful in the bid, and that continues now till April, where we're hoping to continue it from next April for a further 3 years. That's the Richmondshire Rover bus, and this is where we provide scheduled services: Catholic, Richmond, Tesco's, Ripon, North Hallam, Barncastle. So, as you can see here, the success that's been born by good leadership, a good team, and a good set of volunteers, and supplemented by paid drivers. 900, 5,000, this year will be on course probably to excess to 60,000 passengers. And can you imagine if them 60,000 people went to a bus stop and there wasn't transport?
Brilliant. See.
How we operate, the legislation, Section 19 bus permits, which basically, without going into too much detail, is the demand response services the school transport operate under the legislation of the Section 19 permits. Section 22 community bus permits, ostensibly that's used for our scheduled services where you register a route, you register the service, and you provide that transport, obviously as per timetable. 12 trips a year. We go to Harrogate Flower Show, Kendal, very, very popular. Boundary Mill, Hawes Garden Centre, Christmas shopping. Wednesday, we had a trip to Ilkley. Every time we have a trip, it's oversubscribed. We have 16 seats, and I can guarantee there's 20, 25 people who want to do the trip. The school sanctuary, that has taken off big style. We used to provide it 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, but because of the publicity, the fact is that it's a massive sanctuary for red squirrels. It's expanded such a lot. We are running this service every day, and we carry at least 8 passengers per day. Sometimes I've had to put a second bus on because we have over 16 people going on it, and that's every day. We pick them up, drop them off, 2 hours later we go and pick them up and it's £6. And it's very, very popular. Other events we've done, we've service on the 1940s weekend, we go to Newton Shore. We have transport now in the morning, it starts at 6:50 in the morning to provide local transport for local kids to get to the Queen Elizabeth's College and the schools. And when we pick them up, it's 5:05 on the way back. We take them to Leyburn, where they catch the college bus from Leyburn onto Darlington. Again, without those, parents would have to take the cars. And when you've got 10, 12 people, it doesn't work out how much it's going to cost every day. We assisted with the Tour de France. We had our buses decaled with the red spots, which went down really, really well. We have an 8-rack cycle rack, which is used by the local communities, it's used by anybody who wants to borrow it. It's there for their use. And then we come to one of the most important part of our volunteers. That's a true, very true statement, though. Rural Ward, very proud to actually being organised. We were asked to go to the Rural Most Awards, where we've been nominated the category Community Group of the Year. And we won against some very stiff, worthwhile competition. Coming back to the volunteers, we couldn't have operated the service to the level that we do without a band of 60 volunteers who are dedicated drivers who give up their valuable time. You cannot put a cost on a volunteer. They are committed, driven, and well appreciated by the local people. The amount of times I get phone calls, I speak to drivers, I go out and drive, and I get all the people on the bus saying, it's fantastic what they do. And they are really appreciated. We had a team of part-time paid drivers who obviously do the school contracts, and they supplement when the volunteers can't drive. But it's important that we started off with half a dozen volunteers, word of mouth, the accolade that they've been given. The fact is that they want to help their community, they want to be seen to be there, they do a fantastic job, and without them, we would not be able to operate any sort of bus service to the level that we do. And we cannot praise these people enough. It's a big thing for somebody to give a full day driving, but they do. We have volunteers who give 1 day a month. I have some volunteers who give 2 days a week. I have a volunteer who lives in Leeds. He drives twice a month from Leeds to come to Hawes to drive a bus. Go figure. You know, cross-section of people. You know, we've got retired police officers, we've got retired superintendents, we've got retired bus drivers. We've got 3 retired bus drivers who want to come back and just give back to the community. You know, we have a broad cross-section of volunteers. I think it's important when you have a volunteer base that they have a point of contact, the ability to contact that person, whoever he or she is, given any day. They need that support. The appreciation that they're given, and more importantly, they're driven themselves. You know, it's not everybody who wants to be a volunteer bus driver. It's not everybody who wants to sit for 4 hours in a petrol station and serve members of the public. What they do is beyond recompense. And it's that support that they need that makes the success that we have. You know, they know that they can contact John, they can contact me, contact them at the office, the team that we have in the office, anytime, and they will be given any support, any help, anything at all. Because we appreciated that without their time, we wouldn't be in a position to offer the services to our residents and our public that we do, and have the success that we do now. If there's any questions, you can come and speak to me later on, but that's basically it.